So we got part of the poet in the building. Thank you for coming through, bro.
No problem, what's up?
Alright, so this is our first time meeting, but for what I could say from your vibe, first thing I pick up is humility. So talk about the importance of having a humble vibe and you pursuing the music career.
And that's one of the most important things to have, but it seems to be lacking in the Bahamas. You know, a lot of artists seem to think that they're on a level of international stardom that's non-existent here in the Bahamas. You know, it's still an industry that we're trying to create. So the way I look at it is nobody is really above anybody. We all on the same level. You see what I'm saying? So there shouldn't be any egos clashing in this, what I like to call a piece of a half of a music industry here in the Bahamas. That's just my opinion.
You know, I got you and I agree with that fully.
Yeah, so everybody should humble themselves and, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So besides the humility, what other qualities or factors you think would play into an artist achieving success?
We talking about rappers in particular?
That's the popular genre, but I wouldn't limit it because you don't know which artist.
I think one of the greatest qualities you can have as an artist is honesty.
Alright.
With yourself and your work, your craft, you know. Not only with yourself, but with who you surround yourself with, you know, because sometimes you have your friends that could be gassing you up on some work that's really not up to a particular standard. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So honesty is one of the key things that you need to have. Be honest with yourself first and foremost, you know. A lot of things you create might sound like that's it to you.
Right.
but that's the problem.
Only to you.
Only to you, you know what I'm saying? So you have to also be able to surround yourself with people who are going to give you that honest opinion and that constructive criticism, and that's what we don't have.
So any of your friends ever shut down any of your music? Tell you no, this ain't ready, do whatever?
Yes. Charlie Brown being probably the main one.
Alright.
But I like that. I like the honesty. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what I was going to ask you. How you deal with criticism, constructive criticism, or what advice? Because I'm asking you for advice because you have a lot of experience that you could share. You know what I mean? So at the same time as I'm asking you these questions, I'm asking from the perspective of a younger artist who could use the insight too. Yeah. So for those who mightn't be as willing or as ready as you to accept some creative, constructive criticism, what would you got to say to them? What would you tell them?
Don't bother.
You tell the artist don't bother?
Don't bother, because constructive criticism is going to come with the territory, whether you choose to accept it or not. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not going to accept it, then don't bother. Because
step in the arena.
Yeah, because the only thing that you're going to create is like lies.
True. You
understand what I'm saying? It's going to be a whole lot of fabrication created, and if you don't have honesty in yourself and the right people around you to be honest with you and let you know, hey, that you could do something with that in this area or that area, and then you get to thinking you got the hardest shit in the world, excuse my language.
No, obviously.
You know, but, you know, yeah.
So you think, besides the friends, you think the radio stations have any responsibility in, let's say, the lack of authenticity that's being promoted right now?
Boy, that goes back. That goes deep and that goes back. You know, there have been so many obstacles in the way of Bahamian artists and entertainers, especially when you're talking about music outside of the traditional break and scrape.
Alright.
Boy.
Alright, so I wouldn't want to throw the station under the bus anyway, right? But
no, I wouldn't say it's the station, you know, it's a collection of It's a variety of things. You know
Alright.
what I'm saying? You can't blame the radio station
Okay.
without saying the program director or the DJs.
Very true.
You understand what I'm
Very
saying? So I wouldn't just say the radio station. No.
Okay.
You know, you have to share the blame equally.
So you think the fence is too low to say get involved in what's becoming of a music industry to compete? You think the barrier to entry is too low to where anyone could just walk in and feel like, all right, I have one song that 10 people like, it's the next best thing?
I would say, and I probably can get some hate for this, yes.
Okay.
I would say that the barrier, the standard has been, you know, a few years ago, a standard was set. Somewhere along the line, that deteriorated.
You have any point? You have any pinpoint any sport?
During the era of S-types, White House,
Okay.
that was an era when a lot of good music came out, not just from S-types and White House, don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but that was just all the Julian Believe and Soldier Shady, Sammy Star. Everyone was, you know, putting in good quality work.
Right. I noticed you mentioned a lot about the newer artists, and you one of the artists I noticed that you embraced that newer era. And Asha Simmons was here 2 days ago, and he spoke highly of you and the way that you embrace him. He was clear to say you don't feel no pressure from you to join your team, nothing like that. It's just you saw talent and you try to expose it to the world. So
Yeah.
what's the mentality behind that?
When I started, like I said before, the resources weren't exactly readily available the way they are now, and I didn't have anybody to tell me certain things and to school me, especially on music business. You know, and I think that's where we as artists fail in the Bahamas. We don't really take the time out to try and understand the way this music business works, especially as far as getting your paperwork sorted out as an artist. You know what I'm saying?
So at what point did you personally realize, because you know everyone comes into the game with just a love for making music, but at what point did you realize, like, all right, they have to take this business side of it seriously, they have to look at this and really study this and see where this is going?
After I got swing a couple of times.
Couple times.
Yeah.
All right. So,
But I don't want to point fingers.
all right, no
you know
problem.
what I mean?
No name call it.
Yeah, but
Well, okay. So when you say swing, what was that? How you feel you get swing?
I didn't understand the way royalties worked, and I didn't understand anything about publishing, stuff like that. So I never really received any payment. I think I received payment twice, for royalty payments twice back then. And the thing is, I was signed to a publishing company, but it wasn't until after my contract with the publishing company had expired that I started to do my own research, you know, and figure out how the splits work and how the shares work and what the difference was between writers' royalties and publishing royalties and all of that other stuff. When I started to look into that for myself, and I began to get an understanding of UPC codes and IRCS or IRCW codes, something like that. But there, like, all of these things play a role, especially if you're an independent artist, because usually you would just sign your life away to a record label and then they tell you don't worry about that stuff.
Oh, and before the cameras cut, that was something we were talking about, the independent aspect of it. So how important is independence to you as an artist?
Very. Um, because we in the Bahamas, we don't have any major record labels to pick us up. You know what I'm saying? It's like 10 times harder to get exposure here than it would be in the States. Or, so you have to learn to, if you want to be successful, especially coming from the Bahamas, you have to learn the business side of it.
Definitely.
You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, you just be doing it for nothing, and you don't want to do that.
So you wouldn't encourage an artist to sign with a label, period?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't even give that artist my opinion, honestly, because I don't want to be the one to, then you cast the blame on me for whatever reason. I always say, go with what works for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My way might not work for you.
Well, I ask this, you have the experience that give you the insight, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability.
But some people mightn't want to take on the responsibility of doing all of that research and stuff. They'd rather just have somebody do it for them.
Right.
So, whatever floats your boat, Captain.
So how do you see yourself helping to elevate the game? I mean, do you see yourself ever fulfilling like a managerial capacity for artists? How do you see yourself further in the game beyond just artistry?
Well, right now, I guess you could say I have a record label.
All right.
But I'm really not interested in signing artists, to say like, well, I have a roster of artists behind me. I'm not really that interested in that. What I would like to do is take on one or two artists and help them to understand the music business while we put out some good music.
All right.
And my whole thing about it is, I really only want to work with an artist for one project.
Just help them, like you EP,
Right.
EP a project.
Right. And by the time we're done with that project, you would know enough to go and do your second project, complete your second project, and promote it by yourself.
Each one to each one.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I never had coming up, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I sort of took to Asher, because if you spoke with Asher, you'd realize that he's a particular type of character.
Yeah, he peculiar.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I met him, the first thing, and when I heard him rap, the first thing came to my mind is, Poe, if you leave him to go out there on his own, he can get swing.
Wow. Wow, it was almost like a responsibility you felt.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's how he and I ended up connecting.
Alright.
You see what I'm saying?
So now it's obvious you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing, because you're making a lot of investments. I saw, well, just over the social media, you have the studio popping in Abaco, and speaking to other artists from Abaco, it seems to be hardly non-existent, any outlets for artists. So what's the inspiration behind you investing so heavily, although like you would say half of a music industry? What's encouraging you to say still take the forefront and do that heavy investing to put that infrastructure down?
Because I just know and I just believe that there is gonna be a Bahamian to break this barrier and bust this door wide open, bro. I just know it. So I'm, even if it takes for me to try and help to develop some of them along the way, and it's so funny because I talking like I'm such a, and I'm not, but it's just that I've already gotten the worst end of the stick so many times that I could steer someone else away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
Yeah, that's all it is though.
Okay, and I love the way you have confidence that a Bahamian artist could bust like that.
Because the talent is here, man. I've been listening to some Bahamian artists, bro, and in all honesty, I probably haven't listened to half as much as I should be listening to.
Alright.
But for the ones that have crossed my radar, bro, some
Alright.
talent is here.
So, what catches your eye from an artist when you hear their music or when you see them? What you looking for specifically to say stop attention? Whether in their sound or their look.
You know, I've always been one who was keen on lyricism.
All right.
You know, so for me, it ain't even what do I see in you, it's what I hear from you.
Content.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and I judge you from that. You know.
Okay. So what do you think about now? We already agreed the standard drop a little, but it's still a lot of talent out there. What do you think about the level of competition, skill level from the lyricists that you see in the game today? Oh, and I mean, if you don't mind, who do you see standing out?
Standing out lyrically?
Yeah, lyrically.
Are we talking about wordplay, lyricism?
Mm-hmm.
Shalon stands out.
Okay.
He definitely stands out to me. I'll tell you someone else who stands out. Lex.
Sleepy Lex.
He stands out. Not only, he's just unique.
Yeah, he has a unique sound.
You know what I'm saying? But also lyrically, he's up there.
All right.
He's definitely up there. Lyrics, I would put Shalon and Lex up top from what I have listened to personally
Okay.
so far. You know, so I like twin them. They on the top of my list also. Not more so for the lyrics, but they just make awesome songs.
Yeah, they have a great sound.
Yeah, they make awesome songs, bro. It's a few more you actually.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, because I remember listening to you on the freestyle, Fat Saturday freestyle, and saying, listen to Shadow Fox. You know what I'm saying? And as far as I'm concerned, to this day, there has not been a Bahamian lyricist on par with Shadow Fox.
Like you said, because this a conversation that's usually had behind the scenes, and a lot of spitters overdose of you, Shadow Fox, reality. That would have been, like you said, that era just before the internet, where had that thing been around and the style was so raw, so true to the Bahamian dialect and everything. Shout out to Bones.
DJ Bones, yeah.
But how was it for you as a lyricist to survive with the top level spitters like that? Like when everyone was fresh and hungry and inspired.
Bro, listen to me. I don't even think we can get that feeling back. That digitwave feeling. There was a time when I could remember every Tuesday night we used to go to Digitwave Studio. Shout out to Zoltan Johnson.
Alright.
Zoltan, Reality, Rich, the X Factor was there. But it used to be like 30, 40 guys up in the studio, bro.
Wow.
Hanging out in the corridor and everybody just waiting for their chance to get on the microphone, you know. And it would be like the top 5 or 6 to be played on Reality's radio show.
Oh.
You see that? So it was a competition for one of those spots. You see what I'm saying? And you know what it is to have 30, 40 fellas up there. You gotta come with.
Yeah, you gotta stand out.
Yeah. And these were the names that stood out around that time. You know what I'm saying? Overdoser, Big On, Crypto. You see what I'm saying? Roman Red. These were the people, you know, and you know what's strange? The celebrity artists.
Jamal.
Jamal.
Yeah.
I know him as Anthrax.
He's an artist.
Yeah, he was one of the best rappers coming up there.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a lot of it's so many others I can't remember all the names, bro. But that feeling that you used to get from going up there, yeah.
So if you had to describe that feeling in one word, would you call it what? Hunger? What would you call it?
Passionate.
I like that.
Passionate.
So, with all, I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is why hasn't an artist cracked as yet? Why you think a Bohemian hasn't shot as yet? Because I mean, just based off the names which you were calling a minute ago and everything else, why you think no one break up REAs yet? As yet?
Politics. Politics. Bro, so much has happened over the years that so many people don't know about, you know, and some discouraging stuff, bro. You know what I mean? Involving politics.
I mean, but
you know,
as much detail as you could give without.
Do you know that a major record label once wanted to set up an office here, set up their office here?
Did not.
I'm not calling any names.
All right.
But that was hindered because of politics.
Let me see if I can translate. So, a label wanted to come here, and persons here who had the power to allow this to happen, they stopped it from happening. What's the reason? What's the reason behind that, though? What do you think?
Greed.
When you say greed, you mean they didn't want
Greed.
They didn't want artists to flourish in that way.
More like y'all coming down here with all of this money. What for me?
Oh yeah. Typical being involved.
Right.
You know, it's like they scared of people away. Is what you're saying in a sense.
Listen, the record labels know there's talent in the Bahamas. You know.
Wow.
They know that, which is why one of them wanted to set up down here. But because of the way that our previous governments dealt with the situation, it didn't happen. You know, like I said, I don't want to call names,
Yeah, definitely.
but
Definitely.
it was definitely some politics being played, and it didn't pan out. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
before all that,
there have been obstacles even before that, bro. But the thing is, it's been our own keeping us down.
the story of our life.
Yeah.
Right? Well,
You know what I mean?
that's just for the hip hop historians out there. Just give us a little timeline. So if anyone will do their own independent research on this, you know what I mean? Just give them a little era they could look at, maybe from 97 to 99.
All I would say is do your research, man. That's all I would say. Do your research. And that's the thing. A lot of us don't bother to because I guess probably because we don't think that there's much of a history behind this music.
Definitely, that's
but
what it
there is. No matter how small you may think it is, it's history, nevertheless. And if you would actually take the time to go and try to find some of this stuff out, I really think that a lot of people's jaws would hit the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Alright, so the EP Dreamin', you getting your executive producer credits up. What inspired the project? What inspired the name? And why so short?
Actually, when I looked at everything that I had recorded last year, I realized that there were contrasting songs, you know, so I decided to, instead of putting everything into one project, separate them.
Alright.
Because I had radio songs, and then I had like some street music.
Alright.
You know, so this EP, Dreamin', is some of the radio stuff.
Wow.
Some of the commercial stuff, you know?
Why was it important for you to make that separation from commercial and streets?
Well, if you want if you want promotion and you want radio play, the
Right.
radio, they're selective in what they play.
Very true.
You know, so you have to be selective in what you give the radio station. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking to get spins and get your song in rotation, you know, you can't be sending them a song inciting violence or something of that sort.
Yeah.
You know, you want to send them something they can dance to or something that has meaning. You know what I mean? So I think on the EP, you get something to dance to, but you get more of the songs that have meaning. You know what I'm saying? So that was geared towards the radio stations.
So how did you strike that balance to have an in-depth, a meaningful commercial record? Because you know, you said meaning, but for the most part, radio songs normally just dance music or have fun music. So how were you able to strike that balance and still put meaningful content into what's supposed to be like lighthearted listening music?
Because I speak about the issues that we all can relate to, not just as Bahamians.
All right.
I mean, but mostly as Bahamians, but also just as human beings. You know what I'm saying? For example, the first single on the EP, I Wish,
Okay.
is it's like three different stories rolled into one. You know what I'm saying? The first verse is talking about, you know, the loss of close friends. You know, the second verse is talking about the loss of love.
Right.
Of a lover's loss.
Right.
You know.
Romantic love.
And the third verse is talking about family. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's been through one of the three, if not all of the three,
Definitely.
in some shape or form.
Definitely.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's more so you aim to be relatable or straight across the board, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So what's some of the ways you plan on, I should say, any unique ways you plan on promoting the project? Because I know, you know, it's the social media and the
Yeah.
radio runs and stuff, but you have anything up your sleeve to say that's unique that could push it a little further? Or if you want
I don't want to elaborate on that. You know, sometimes when you speak things before they happen,
All right.
it tends to hinder the process.
Very true.
And I'm not trying to jinx anything at this point in time, you know.
All right.
But
Respect that.
right now it's all about promotion, most definitely.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So before we sign out, do you have anything else you want to promote? Anyone you want to big up?
Yeah, shout out to all of the artists in Abaco trying to get themselves together and make a name for themselves. I've had a lot of them pass through Serafina Recording Studio. So I just want to say, be encouraged and don't stop. You know, shout out to Philo Conseco, Asha Simmons. We have Article, who's a reggae artist.
All right.
You know, you met Positive Energy.
Okay.
We have a lot of talent in the Bahamas, bro. So right now, my goal isn't even just from an artist standpoint. You know, I'm looking to help to develop some younger artists along the way also, in hopes that somebody is gonna just get their foot in the door and keep it there.
So it's soon transition from Serafina Recording Studio to Serafina Records.
Well, actually, it's already transitioned to Serafina Media Group.
Okay. Oh, you even trying Sanchez?
Yeah.
Hey, with that. So next time we catch up, we can have a lot more to talk.